Did you know that the Bible mentions astrologers and even shows where God has actually used stars to guide astrologers? Astrology is everywhere. It's on social media, it's on television shows. We see it all around us. But what does God think of astrology? What does the Bible say? Well, it might surprise you to know that the astrology shows up in the story of Jesus. And what does that mean? Does that mean that God approves of astrology? Does he think it's okay? Let's unpack it. The wise men, or sometimes called the magi, were likely astrologers. These were people that studied the stars in the sky to find deeper meaning. And what they saw was something unusual in the sky. It was likely maybe a planetary alignment, something happening actually out there that really did happen, but they interpreted it as a signal that there was a birth of a king or some important figure. And that's how God drew them to Jesus, to where Jesus was being born. And in other words, God used something that they knew about, the stars in the sky, to draw them to Jesus. However, God is clear about magic and fortune telling and things of that nature. He's not about it. Deuteronomy 18:10 shows it. So the fact is that astrology isn't praised, and sure, God has used it in the past. But at the end of the day, God and himself, his power and himself are bigger and greater than astrology. So he can use whatever to showcase his glory, but just because he uses it does not mean he wants you to follow that. So again, he has used stars in the past, but he primarily speaks through his word and through his son, Jesus Christ. So let's just follow that lead and not look up at the stars, but instead look at the face of Jesus Christ.